Hello and welcome to my Siege of Orgrimmar raid guide. In this video, I'll show you all you need to know about the Kor'kron Shaman, the 7th boss in this new raid instance. We defeated this fight with 2 tanks, 6 healers and 17 DPS, but similar raid configurations may work just as well. In this fight, you're faced with Warbinder Cardris and Earthbreaker Harem, both of which share a health pool. They bring with them 2 pet wolves, Darkfang and Bloodclaw. The most difficult part of this encounter is properly dealing with all the abilities they use and defeating them before you run out of room in the arena. Both shamans start out on Garish's old throne room and need to be pulled out by a tank to engage the fight. Positioning changes a lot throughout the fight, but the raid should be loosely spread out in the middle of the arena, and the shaman should be pulled across the outer areas of the arena whenever possible. Once you engage the shamans, you need to burn down the 2 wolves as soon as possible. They both have a cleave and a stacking rend and will increase tank damage by a lot. We had 1 tank pick up Wavebinder Cardris, and our other tank picked up both wolves as well as the Earthbreaker Harem. The dogs should die very fast before the debuff starts becoming a problem. The tank switch mechanic in this fight is called Frost Storm Strike and is used by Earthbreaker Harem. It inflicts 300k damage and applies a debuff that makes the afflicted person take additional stacking damage from subsequent Frost Storm strikes. The debuff lasts 30 seconds and tank switches should occur whenever the debuff wears off on one tank or whenever damage starts getting threatening. The shamans drop down different totems at different points in the fight. When they reach 85% health, they'll drop down a Poison Mist totem. At 65% health, they'll drop down a Foul Stream totem. And lastly, at 50% health, they'll drop down an Ash Flare totem. Each totem grants them different abilities that your raid has to contend with. The totems never disappear, so at the end of the fight you have 6 different abilities that all happen simultaneously. First up, the Poison Mist totem will grant Harem the Toxic Mist ability, which basically puts a 30-second dot on several raid members that gets progressively worse over time. At the end of its duration, mitigation cooldowns should be used to keep raid members from dying. Healers should make sure this shows up in their raid frames. This ability persists through immunities. Cardris gains a Toxic Storm ability from the Poison Mist totem, which summons a cyclone that periodically pops out baby cyclones. The main cyclone is immobile, but the baby cyclones move around, making positioning sometimes tricky. Neither the main cyclone nor the baby cyclone should be stood in. If possible, it's best to position new mothership cyclones near already existing mothership cyclones, as to give your raid more room to move. These cyclones persist for 2 minutes. At 65% of their health, you have additional abilities to deal with, namely Foul Stream and Foul Geyser. Foul Stream will mark a player with a green limelight, and after a few seconds it shoots out a toxic line into their direction. Anyone standing in the line takes 300k damage. The targeted person should attempt to move to an area away from any raid members to avoid having anyone else get hit by it. The line only persists for a few seconds, so placement is of no concern other than not bombing the raid. The Foul Geyser ability will pop a bunch of foul slimes near whoever is tanking Cardris at the time. Standing in the slime pop spot can easily kill a raid member, so clear the area once you see one pop up. The slimes must be AoE'd down and should be slowed or mass stunned. Have your ranged raid members kill these and stay away from them, as being within 3 yards of them will inflict heavy damage per second. At 50%, you get to see the last set of abilities, Ashen Wall and Falling Ash. Ashen Wall is used by Harem and periodically summons a wall made out of ash elementals. They will attack anyone near them, so avoid getting close to it or running through the wall. Falling Ash is a rather large ground AoE clearly marked by a red circle. Once a circle appears on the ground, a meteor will start falling into it. After 15 seconds it lands. Anyone still standing in the circle will instantly die, so this obviously needs to be avoided. However, when the meteor lands, every raid member takes 300k damage regardless of position. Falling Ash happens rather frequently, so you may want to figure out a healing cooldown chain to alleviate healing during this phase. At 25%, the shamans will use Bloodlust, increasing all damage dealt and haste by 25%. This is a good time to use your own Bloodlust and finish them off as quickly as possible while still doing all the mechanics right. It's very important to get the positioning right. While you never want to be stacked, you have to make sure that your raid members don't end up in no man's land out of range of healers or in a generally bad spot. Generally, having your ranged DPS and healers in the middle of the arena and moving the bosses along the outside seems to be the best strategy for this. Other than that, it's just a matter of executing the mechanics correctly. Those are all the tips I have for the Kor'kron Shaman. Thank you for watching this guide. I hope it was helpful. I stream most of our raids and other gaming content over at Twitch. I'll put the link in the description box, so come stop by sometime.